Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile. In this video, I'm going to be doing a deck profile on the budget Liberators. So this is the Gold Paladin Liberator Legion deck. It is the budget build because a lot of people were requesting this, and it was pretty easy for me to put together without having to get like Percival and any of those Legion mates for Glare and Core. I forget what the guy's name is. But anyway, I don't really pay attention to Gold Paladin anymore. I hate playing against them though. So even though this is a budget deck, the deck is very consistent. Gold Paladin, just like the new Gold Paladins, the Liberators specifically, from the Legion era, are just a whole lot better than how Gold Paladin used to be, where it was just very like inconsistent top decking cards and throwing them on the field. This one is a lot better in the sense that it looks at like 3 or 4 cards depending on what skill you're using. But the thing I don't like about it is that it's kind of stealing the Neo Nectar playstyle. But it is still very generic Gold Paladin in how it plays. So for Murasame Liberator Coil, this guy is probably the lesser of the two Legions that I'm using. So this one, he's rare, he's in set 16, so he's pretty easy to get. And the other one is the Locust Liberator. This guy is probably a lot better. I mean, he's just your typical, he's going to gain 5,000, gain 1 critical. But he is just better in the sense that he gives that pressure. This one is kind of like, I want to say this is kind of like Wingle. And this one's kind of like Alfred in terms of, if you want to translate between Seekers and Liberators. But the deck functions fine with these without having to use like any more expensive type of Legion cards. But anyway, this is the budget build, so that's what I'm using. Next, for Holy or Liberator of Royalty Fallon. This is this is the 12K. Everybody knows Fallon. Anyone who's ever played like Gold Paladin since Season 3, since Break Ride era, would know. So he's your generic 12K attacker for the Liberators. He's also the Legion mate to this guy, which is the better of the two bosses in the deck, so he's pretty important. He was reprinted in the trial deck, the new trial deck, and with Percival, and then this is the old one from the first trial deck. Next, for Traherne, Shower Liberator Traherne, he is Legion mate for the other one, so basically self-explanatory. He also gains 3,000 power, but it's an auto where it's like when this unit is placed on R from the deck, so you kind of want to top deck this guy out of the 3 or 4 cards that you get to look at. So that's basically why he's in here. Pretty much generic Gold Paladin playstyle. 3 Liberator Lawful Trumpeter, another rare from the set. So all these are rare, like all these cards are rare. I chose this one over the other one mainly because it goes with the Gold Paladin playstyle of comboing, looking at 3 cards from the top of the deck and search for a Liberator and place it on open R. So it's a little bit more specific than how traditional Gold Paladin was, or the older Liberators, where it was like, look at the top card, if it's a Gold Paladin, call it. Put the rest on the bottom of the deck, or something like that. This one, it's like, it has to be Liberator. And it only works with Legion. So for grade 1s, 3 of the new Sentinel for Liberators, and 1 Igraine. So I really think in Legion, 3 Perfect Guard and 1 Quintet Wall is just really good overall. Some people disagree, they still think the 4 Perfect Guards are more optimal. In my opinion, the only difference is that the Quintet Wall can allow the deck to run faster. So it can Legion faster. It opens up that option without having to throw away a lot of cards from your hand. And against decks like CEO, Yggdrasil, in late game where you want to conserve your zeros, it's kind of important to do that. So that's another reason why I think the 1 Quintet Wall is just really good. And the deck doesn't counterblast too much. The only things that counterblast are the Vanguards and the counterblast 2. But you won't really use it more than like twice. So I think that's ideal. And then 1 Guinevere just for more guarding potential. This 1 Igraine and 1 Guinevere in Liberators I think is just really good. It functions kind of like another Quintet Wall, so it's kind of like I have 3 Sentinel type cards in here, or 5, not 3. I don't know why I said 3. Anyway, Next, 4 Twin Axe Liberator, Basaya. This guy, he's another one. He's kind of like, no, he's not like Bruno, but he's like this thing. So these both gain power. Or no, I take that back. He's like this guy, the Legion mate. So these two, they basically gain power when they're placed on R from the deck. So he gains 5, so he makes an 11k or 12k booster, and then this one is like just 12 attacker. And then I went with 3 Liberator Holy Acolyte. I thought this card looks pretty cool. From set 16, it's common. That guy's also common. So they're new, the Liberators. They got the blue flame stuff going on. So I just chose this guy. He's basically, he's not really that good, but because he's an attacker. So basically, I would say if you have the trial deck, you might want to swap this for the 10k, you know, the 10k grade 1 for Liberators. But I mean, this works okay, I guess. It is a budget deck, so I just put together use these cards. Next, 2 Liberator, Delicate Archer. This one helps you cycle through your deck and draw. Like if you have a card in your hand, you don't like it, you can discard it for Legion. And then, but the only thing is, most of the time you'll already be in Legion when you use this effect, because it is it's when a card is placed on R from the deck. So it just helps you draw and cycle through the deck. It just helps fix some of the inconsistencies with Gold Paladin's superior calling. So that's its purpose, more than anything else. And then for the 0 lineup, 4 of the new critical that came out in set 16, and then I'm still running 4 of the Liberators from the BT10. So that was when Liberators debuted for Season 3. And then I am running 4 stand triggers in here. This stand trigger has a pretty good effect. I can see Bushiroad is really trying to push stands with these since Legion started. Like the Witches stand's really good. This stand's pretty good. The Secret one's also pretty good, and so is the Regalia one. So I can see this working, and so far, playtesting the deck, it does work with the stands. It's really annoying because remember, Gold Paladin is a clan that will usually always have like a full field, so stand triggers work really good in that regard. Otherwise, the alternative would probably be 12 critical. The draws aren't really needed because you're just going to superior call from the deck to the field anyway, so your hand kind of just sits there. So that's pretty much the lineup that I went with. And then obviously 4 heals. And then the starter I chose is Flaming Passion Liberator Guide, or Guido. I always think that's an E for some reason, even though it's an O. Anyway, this guy, he's another card. When you Legion, you can look at 3 cards from the deck and superior call one of them if it's a Liberator to open R. So it's another one of those that cycles stuff from the top of the deck to try to help fix consistency problems. So overall, I would say that the new Blue Flame Liberators are a lot more consistent than the older ones, like the non-Blue Flame. So basically, all these superior call a lot better. You can build better columns than you could before. But overall, the attack power is not quite as high as the older Liberators. So it's like they kind of tune down the attack power for Gold Paladins, but raise the consistency of the calls, making them a little bit more like Royal Paladin and a little less like old school Gold Paladin. That's basically the best way I could summarize the deck, the way it functions. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the deck, go ahead and build it. Let me know how it goes or what you change regarding grade 1 or 2s. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.